All right, guys. Dana couldn't make the press conference. Before we get to the press conference questions, a couple of questions that popped up throughout tonight about the Super Bowl and our event. So I do want to address that situation. As you know, next weekend is UFC 169 in Newark. We're keeping an eye on what happens with the Super Bowl in the event of bad weather. We're coming up with a contingency plan as a result. If and only if they move the Super Bowl to Saturday, we will move UFC 169 to Sunday. It obviously requires a lot of coordination with the venue, the fighters, and our TV production crews around the world. So again, we'll be monitoring the situation very closely. We will only make the change should the Super Bowl move. Who has the first question?
Nick Cunningham with Ola America newspaper. Josh, I was wondering if you could give us your opinion on the outcome of the fight and a couple things from the fight.
My opinion doesn't matter, as you can tell. I lost. That's the opinion of it. The only people in the ring that it really matters is the three people that were on the cage, and they decided that it didn't matter. So that's it.
Josh, when did your hand get messed up? Was it in the first or the second round?
First round. Yeah. We you can ask the commission guy. He was like, hey, I was like, hey, my hands broke. He asked if I should stop the fight. I was like, no, get the hell out of here. No, yeah. First round, I came back, and I was like, hey, I think it's broken, and Bob told me, suck it up, get out there.
So Josh, how do you keep pushing forward then the next 3 rounds? I mean, that's been a lot of the talk.
I guess fighters are like hockey players, man. We don't get carried off the ground because we have cramps, right? Right, boys? See, so we're just gonna keep fighting. That's what we're up here to do. That's what we get paid to do. So that's it, man. I speak for everybody up here. I'm sure. You know, a broken hand, broken thumb. We've all fought through it, and this is what we do for.
And Stipe, can you take me through that fight? And could you feel him fading, starting in the second round? Because that's what it seemed to look like.
Yeah, that first round didn't start off the way I wanted it. You know, he looked like he kicked pretty hard, which he did. And, and then I started opening up, and then I started noticing he started fading, so I kept putting on the pressure, and then he started taking more shots, so I knew he was getting in trouble. So, and then, that's all she wrote, and I won.
It seemed like you were able to march him down pretty consistently that last 10 minutes without much problem. Yeah,
I mean, just constantly throwing a jab, trying to angle and, keep him at bay, and, more punches, kept him at bay.
Yeah. And Mr. Cerrone? What's up, bud? You said the other day you planned on getting another 50,000, so obviously that's taken care of, and you're the record holder now.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah, 13 or something like that combined.
I want to set a record for the most fights in a year, so can I get 6 this year? It'd be fucking great.
So when's the next one you want to be on? I think you told us the other
day. I
day.
think Baltimore or Chicago or Dallas would be great.
Yeah.
So there's fighters out there that are saying they can't get fights. Hey, man, I'm your guy.
So after the little bit of an up and down stretch that you had a year and a half ago or whatever, your last two have been, obviously pretty dominant. What's the difference at this point?
I had to just figure out why I do this again. Like I said, I got really comfortable. I made more money than I ever made in my whole life. And I just bought everything. I just got very comfortable in where I was and forgot the love that I did this for. I remember kickboxing around the world for $1,500. Like, yeah, $1,500? You kidding me? To go to Japan? Yeah. And so, you know what I mean? And I forgot why I lost the love. And I'm back. I'm back. I feel good.
Is the 50,000 from tonight already spent? Do you have it?
Yeah, like a fart in the wind. It's gone. Gone.
And what's that on again?
I don't have no. I'm sure Cabela's will get a big chunk of it.
All right, thanks.
Question? Somebody get Ariel the mic, or Brett, one of them. Go ahead, Brett.
Josh, what did you think caused the injury? I mean, was this something where you were like, I know that I just screwed up my hand, or was it something you felt like as the fight was going on?
No, I had no idea until I got back after the first round in the corner, and I was just like adjusting my gloves, and I noticed that my thumb is bending all the way back to my wrist, and I was like, oh crap! I was like, what is that? And then I looked at it, and I actually pushed it back a little bit, and even the commission guy kind of looked away, like, ew, that's gross. So yeah, I didn't realize I did it until after the first round.
This might sound like a weird question. You might even not know what I'm talking about. But in the fourth round, you took a really long look at the clock, It was like midway through the round, and you had gotten a takedown. He'd gotten back up. It was kind of like a reset. You looked up at the clock. You kind of looked at the ground. Were you thinking anything at that point? I mean, was it frustrating that the hand was a hand injury frustrating?
Yeah, it was really bugging me because even when he locked his hands around my wrist, my corner was yelling at me, "Fight the hands." I can't grab anything. You know, every time I went to push down on his hands and fight his hands off to separate him, my thumb would just bend all the way back. So I was just like, it was more irritating than anything just to know that like the things that you need to do, you can't do out there. And you know, you train this hard for this long, such a long camp, and I mean, I see my title shots just fucking disappearing. You know, I mean, without getting emotional right now, it's really irritating me.
And just one more for you. You know, you're a fighter. I'm sure you'll come back. But you know, is this the type of situation where you think it's going to be difficult to get back into the gym and start training again? Is just the way in which you lost? Is it going to be? Do you think that's going to be a difficult process for you?
This might be it, man.
Another question for Josh. You've had some close decisions that haven't gone your way in the past, and I know you just said this might be it. I mean, do you feel like you just can't stomach this? Like, what's the point of doing this if it's going to keep happening?
No, I mean, the Gilbert fight, that to me was a close fight, but I can see how it went either way. This fight, I felt like I won. I won with one hand. I beat the former UFC champion. There was a guy who was here for 2 years, and I beat him with one hand. That's what I can't stomach. I'm a better fighter. That's what pisses me off.
Is this your last fight?
I don't know. I can't tell you right now. I'm pretty emotional, as you can tell.
Right. So you're going to take some time to just regroup. And for Benson, do you think you did enough to win that fight? Do you think you deserve to win?
I felt it. I felt I definitely did enough to deserve to get my hand raised to get a W. Yeah.
Did you notice that he had broken his hand early in the fight?
I wasn't quite sure what it was, to be honest. I won't lie. I didn't know like anything was broken or that damaged. But I saw him doing like this a couple of times, shake his hand out, and then I just kept trying to like hit it, like flip at it, kick it, and stuff. I think I kicked it a couple of times and landed like not like a super hard kick, but just enough to annoy him, to bug him.
And how do you feel about wins like this? Because it's not the first time you've had a disputed decision, a controversial. Do you care at all? Like, does this feel like any kind of win for you?
Hey, getting a W inside the UFC. Let's see how you do it and see how you take it. I like W's. I like getting my hand raised. I'll take it any way I can get it. You slip on a banana peel by the skin of my teeth, by any means,
Two checks. Question, guys?
Mr. Wineland, can you talk about getting back on track? I know that the title fight was not the way you wanted it to go, but and you had some issues with the stoppage then, but this seems to be the kind of way to get people's attention again with the stoppage.
Yeah, I mean, the title fight is water under the bridge at this point. Just keep paddling the boat, and that's exactly what this fight was. Get in the guy's face, keep pressing forward, make it my fight, and I wanted the fight to end on the ground. I wanted to show people that I do possess ground game. I do possess ground and pound. I can control my opponents on the ground. So it wasn't a perfect fight, but I was happy with the outcome.
And how many more do you think you need to get back in there? Because at least in the immediate title mix.
I guess that depends on my next opponent. It could be 2 fights. It could be 1 fight. It could be 4 fights. It all depends on who they put in front of me next.
Question for Jeremy. Over here to you. There you go. Obviously, huge win for you tonight over a top 10 guy. Can you kind of talk about the victory and also this featherweight move for you? I mean, 3-0 now. Now you beat a top 10 fighter. Where do you feel like you do fit in the division?
I think Darren Elkins is top 10, so I feel like I got the win tonight. Puts me right there in top 10. I feel great at 145 pounds and just getting better every day. And, I'm just really enjoying it, man.
How is your confidence at this weight class? Because obviously you've fought some real killers at lightweight, Cowboy being one of them, of course. But you seem to have a real confidence, kind of stalking forward, not really fearing much of what he was doing. Is that just the confidence, the power in what you bring to this division?
Yeah, I really don't focus too much on my opponent and like what they're trying to do. I just focus on me, what I can do, what I'm capable of. I know I can knock anybody out with one punch in pretty much any weight class. And just very confident. 145 pounds, I feel great. I feel like my athleticism is really carrying through. Darren Elkins is a tough guy, and I knew he was just going to be taking me down, trying to do that aspect. But it was a real test for me tonight. I think a lot of people in the media, probably saw this guy, taking me down, doing all that. So we shut him up, we stopped them, and we did our thing.
And a question for Benson. Benson, you told me before the fight that, line them up. Whoever's supposed to get a title shot, you'll take them on. Do you still feel that way now, getting another win like this? And because you are in kind of a weird position, because you got to wait for, I would assume, at least Pettis to fight at least once more, maybe even twice before you get back in there if he remains champion.
I say, my opinion in this matter counts for about that much. Probably less than that. That's how much my opinion matters. It doesn't matter at all what I think or how I feel. It matters to DW, Joe Silva, and Charles Shelby. See what they think, see what they say. Whoever they match me up with next, let's do it. I will take on the entire top 10. I don't want to fight this guy over there any more times. I don't want to fight that guy over there a couple more times. But the entire top 10, let's bring them down. Get my hand raised. I'll do what it takes. I'll do my job to get my hand raised. I can control what happens inside the octagon. That's it. That's all I can control. I can't control matchups or fighting this guy or fighting that guy or fighting what time. The UFC calls you up, say, hey, do you want to fight this day, this time? You can say yes, or you can say
yes. What do you mean?
yes. Exactly. There's no rule option with the UFC, So whenever the UFC calls me up and says, hey, let's do it on this day, this time, I'll be ready, and I'll do what it takes to get my hand raised.
And a question for Alex. Obviously, huge night for you. 2 bonuses. Sergio was kind of, obviously a highly touted guy. Can you talk a little bit about, not only what it means to get a win over a prospect like that, but, I mean, let's be honest, that's, $100,000. That's pretty big money. I'm sure it's life-changing money for a guy,
Definitely. It was definitely a great victory over a guy that had a lot of hype coming into this fight. And he definitely lived up to his name. He was an excellent striker, tough dude all over. Definitely caught a couple head kicks for that 2 bonus checks. But it feels good to win this money. I want to put it to work and put it to some good use. I feel pretty good about not spending it frivolously. I want to be able to invest it into something that might grow later on in the future.
This question for Josh. Josh, you seem to have a lot of takedowns. Was that part of your game plan? And when you noticed something was wrong with your hand, did you have to change your strategy with that?
Yeah, the whole strategy went out the door once the hand was gone. It was hard for me to punch. I mean, every time I punched, my thumb would just stick out, so it would bend it all back, and then the hand just started getting worse and worse. So I just stopped punching and just let him try to get off and get to the body lock and take him down. I mean, there's nothing I could do. I could barely lock my hands either around his waist, so that's why, if you notice, I kept going to the high crotch, trying to lift him and get him down that way, or catching the kick and taking him down, because couldn't really lock my hands.
Question for Alex. Now, did you just see that submission at the end, or maybe did you see some flashes where you could have caught him with that earlier? You knew it was going to be there.
I did think about I might have submitted him, but I was actually looking for the reverse triangle when he would go for those takedowns, and I was trying to wrap up his head and arm, but it wasn't necessarily there. Once he went for the heel hook, I kind of felt myself, oh, look, I've been in this position before. I know how to take the back from here. So it was kind of like going through the motions. We practiced it a lot in the lab, and I was able to secure that rear naked choke. And once I sunk my hand in, I knew it was in pretty deep. I know I was in short time, but I felt nothing but neck. So I was confident that he was going to tap after that.
A question for Alex over here. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you came out to a song called One Trick Pony, right?
Yes, by Paul Simon.
Yes. Was that your take on Sergio Pettis? Were you trying to say something about it?
No, not at all. I just really like the song. It's one of my favorite songs in the entire world. Paul Simon, I think, is one of the greatest singer and songwriters of our time, or before my time. But, huh? Sing a little bit of it? I like that part when he goes, he looks so easy. And it looks so clean.
Yeah.
It moves like God's immaculate machine. So if anything, I would consider myself the one-trick pony.
It's great to watch you like this, talking about investing and things and just seeing your maturation, because at one point you might have been one of those guys on Tough that was just put on the show because you're a great character, but never really developed into a UFC fighter. It feels like you've matured a lot over the last year or so. Would you agree with that? And why? How have you done that?
Well, definitely a couple ass whoopings definitely helped me mature and grow into a better person. It helped me reflect upon myself, and instead of trying to see the layers that covered me, I started to unpeel and find what lied beneath.
Do you think you will get a big fight now? Because you've kind of been in that sort of, top undercard fight, but nothing really big on a main card yet.
Well, I feel that I should. I mean, the last card that I was supposed to be on in Australia got canceled, and I was the co-main event on that one. So hopefully, I think this should propel me up into the main card spots, fighting some top 10 guys. There's nothing left for me to do but get better and only hope that they can give me some guy that's up there.
And just one for Cowboy. I haven't really heard you respond to what Cole Miller said about you last week. Do you have a response to that?
What do you say? Cole Miller is a turd the UFC hasn't flushed yet. That's all.
What did Cole Miller say? What's
Well,
his quote?
he called him Clown Boy. Are you interested in fighting him though at some point?
I think the UFC totally against me going to 45. Like I said, I can't drink delicious full-body Budweisers when I. So I the lifestyle change right now. I don't know if I'm committed for that, but we'll see. I mean, Cole Miller wins some fights and then come see me. You're at the ass end of a long line of people, man. So we'll see.
Cowboy, quick question for you. Henderson already said that he doesn't really want to have a fight with you, but you've got nothing but upward momentum right now. So let's say Dana White makes that call. Are you taking that fight?
Yeah, I don't say. With Benson?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Come on, maybe. Yeah. You don't say no. We just went over that.
Right, but
I
at
whipped
the same
that ass
time,
too,
you know,
so he knows.
You guys have this friendship. You know, you have this rivalry where you make bets on the Super Bowl and everything. So
Which we need to talk about. We need to bring that up.
Here we go.
We didn't do a little. Yeah, we didn't know eyebrows didn't grow back, so we're gonna have to renegotiate this. We can't have a lifestyle change forever. So I mean, look how ugly this dude will be when the Broncos smash. So yeah, we're gonna think of something else and figure out. Maybe Benson will shave his head and I'll grow my hair. We'll figure something out.
All right, very good.
Right behind you.
Question for Steve. Gonzaga said that he broke his hand in the first round. Did you see that? Did you feel that?
Well, he hit me a bunch of times in the head, so he probably did. I mean, I was getting yelled at by my corner to keep my hands up, and I kept dropping my left hand. So, I don't know. He kept hitting me, so I don't know.
I just was going to ask you if you kind of saw that he was hurt and then you changed your strategy.
No, I just saw him getting tired, so I just kept pushing the pace a little bit more, and then just trying to break him mentally.
Okay, and question for Josh. You said early this week that if you would retire, like if you retire today or that day, or tomorrow, you would feel like happy because of everything that you accomplished. Do you still feel the same, or did this
of course.
change it?
No, of course. I mean, I was ranked number 1, number 2 in the world in 2003, 2004. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I'm so possibly in the top 5 right now. So I have no regrets in my career, man. This has been great. This whole ride's been great. I've been all around the world, fought in all the biggest organizations in the world. I have no regrets. This is awesome.
But does like a loss like today makes you like feel better about like trying? I mean, makes you feel trying to get back to the wing again?
No,
or?
this might be it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Questions, guys? Over here.
Victoria Blachova, Russian Chicago Magazine. My first question is for Alex. It was 21 seconds left in the third round. You got that submission win. How significant for you was to get a submission win over a person who was undefeated?
Well, it was pretty significant to get a submission win at all. I hadn't finished a fight in a while, and I was definitely looking for a finish. When I dropped him in the second round, I thought I could finish it there. And so after that, I was truly looking for the finish. I did feel I was kind of under on the cards. He was beating me, definitely landing a lot more strikes. I definitely took a whole bunch of head kicks in the face. I don't know how I recovered from those, but hey, I guess my head's a little bit harder than I thought. But it was definitely significant for me to finish a guy that was undefeated and that had a lot of hype coming into this fight, because I think it puts me in a better spot.
My next one is for Cowboy. You were quite short-worded this week. Were you trying to let your actions speak for your actions speak for your words, or was there something else that was bothering you?
It was just cold here, really cold. So that was about it. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't have more to say. Sorry. Next fight.
And Josh, you going back and forth, saying how fighting is significant for you, and you might do retire, don't retire. What does need to happen in order to your mind to go either or other way?
Realistically, I'm just gonna go home. I'm gonna talk with my family and talk with my coaches, and I'm gonna probably sit down with Dana and Joe and Sean and those guys and see what direction we want to go. You know, that's really what it comes down to, is just kind of getting the whole team together and just seeing, hey, what the plans are for me in the UFC, and we'll make our decisions from there.
Josh, if you would have won this fight, would you have still felt the same way about your future?
Yeah. Yeah, I had this all in my head I think you could tell. You asked me questions before, so.
How long have you been feeling this way?
I mean, a 16-week camp will do that to you, you know? I'm no spring chicken, so you start thinking about it. I've 2 padded practices a day for 6 days a week, 16 weeks. That's an NFL season. I get hit more than guys in the NFL, and I get paid way more. So this to me is just, I just love the sport, man. I don't want to stop it. I still want to be around it, but it's every day. Everybody needs to know that their time has come, and maybe it's not mine right now, but I also don't want to be that person that fights until the dusk and end up, not knowing when it's time to quit.
But is it fair to say, like, after the Diaz win, which was one of the best of your career, that you weren't feeling this way? Like, did this just come up in this training camp?
It was kind of coming up before the title fight was offered, just a little bit. It was there was a lot of time in between, and just didn't know really what the direction of the UFC wanted to take me, and up and down, and then it's frustrating when you're offered a title shot and then it's taken away, and I understand why. I mean, he's injured. That's not a problem. It's just that you're on cloud 9, and then it doesn't happen, and it kind of does hurt.
Just one last one for Eddie. How are you? Congratulations. You fought both Renan Barão recently and Uriah Faber. What's your take on next week's fight? Who do you think wins?
I think it's going to be a really good fight. Uriah's on a tear. Like Dana said, he's got the Vitor effect going on. He's getting older, but he's getting better. His last couple of fights, he's looked like a monster. Not taking anything away from Renan. I like both guys, but I'm going to pick Uriah on that one. I think he's really tearing things up, and he looks really good.
Josh, Dana told us on Thursday that if you won tonight, you would get the next title shot. So had that happen, and obviously it was way close, would you still be in this position where you'd say, maybe I would call it quits?
I'd still be in the same position.
You would turn down the title shot even after
There's
the
a
long
possibility, because what's the point of winning the title and then knowing that you're probably not going to fight much longer? Yeah. I don't want to do that to UFC either. I mean, but like I said, I got to sit down with them and just talk about the direction of how this all wants to go, I love this sport, man. I love being around these guys. It's great to be in the back. I mean, I think everybody that was in my locker room knows. I was back there with smiles and just knowing this was I love it. This is the best.
I mean, if you do decide to walk away, you'll still be in the sport in other ways, right?
I would hope so. I mean, honestly, I'd love to work for Fox. I'd love to do some commentating. I'd love to be part of this, no matter how I can be part of it. It's something to do with the sport itself.
Eddie, back here. Tell us about
Ray?
what's going on. Tell us about the patience that you exhibited on the ground. I mean, you really did a nice job to kind of not overextend yourself when you had him on the ground and really soften him up, and thus, bringing the conclusion of the fight in the second round. Tell us about the patience that you had, with your ground and pound.
Yeah, I mean, in the past, it's been no secret. I like to knock people down, knock them down, and I'll stand back and let them get back up and knock them down again. This time, I wanted to prove something, that I actually did have a ground game, that I could control somebody on the ground, and for anybody who's trained with me in the gym, they know that my top game is very, very heavy, and I don't give a lot of space. And that was just, I like to time my shots, and I don't want to just throw wildly. I make my shots count. I make them hard. I make sure they're going to land, and I throw everything with a meaning, and I try not to give any space and make every shot count.
Did you kind of feel the hometown advantage here?
Oh, absolutely. I got to sleep in my own bed, and it's just a comfort level that's very nice.
For Stipe, did you feel almost like that Gonzaga was kind of fading in the fight? It seemed like you turned it on in the third round as the fight progressed and stuff. So did you kind of feel him fading a little bit as you headed into the third round? Because it seemed like you really turned up your intensity midway through that third round and tried to close it out.
Definitely. My coaches, that was their game plan. Keep the pace up, and once it starts seeing fade, just keep pushing the pace, and he kept fading a little bit more, then I got, he went for that shot, I caught with that left hook, then just play the game a little bit, and, I know he was tired to get up and try to take shots, so definitely.
Time for 2 more, guys.
Question for Eddie. Dominic Cruz is going to be coming back from his groin tear at some point and hopefully finally get back in the octagon. Is that a fight you'd want?
Absolutely. I'll take any fight. You know, I'm like Cowboy. I love to fight. I'll fight anybody. Put somebody in front of me. Preferably, I'd like to have somebody with a number. But at the end of the day, a fight's a fight, and when I'm fighting, I'm happy.
Very good. And Steve, who do you see next for you in the heavyweight division? Obviously, somebody higher ranked than you, but do you have any preference?
No, I just go home, heal up, get better, and wait for the call.
All right.
All right, guys, it's our third consecutive January in Chicago. Another tremendous event here. Thank you to all of you for coming out. UFC 169 in Newark next week. We'll see you then. Thanks.
We do Chicago in like July.
So sure you'll